Good news, everyone. Rick Hahn is alive, and he met with the press.
I was worried there for a minute.
He did his uncomfortable drinking of water as he always does in weird moments, and he just yes, exactly, Smitty. He goes and sometimes makes like a and then begins to answer the question. It's a bizarre usage, but it's what we love about Rick. One of the one and only things at this point, but um he they asked him reporter asked him specifically about like what are you going to do with this team, basically, like what's your point? It's Memorial Day. That's a key time where you start discussing what direction the team is going. And I would say, probably in true White Sox fashion, this is how Rick Hahn responded. Sitting here Memorial Day, the first 2 months have not been up to the level that we wanted it to be. Really?
Yeah.
We get that. It's not acceptable. Could that one day lead to changes over the course of the season? Absolutely. Then he went on to add, but for now, this is a group that is now hopefully coming together as a full unit, and we'll see how it performs over the next several weeks before we have to make that decision. And then he went on to say, which I don't have down here, but he did say, he's like, July 4th will be the next check-in.
So he's like,
it's only major holidays.
Yeah.
Yes, he's on the holiday check-in schedule.
I was thinking it might be a little bit sooner than that, possibly Flag Day on June 14th, which you could potentially call White Flag Day.
Oh!
Like what I did there?
Juneteenth too is coming up right on the heels of that. So
true, there's lots of holidays in June
in between.
You never know when the White Sox fate could be decided.
Yeah, and he'll get out his I don't know what I was gonna say. Anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, here's my thoughts. I'm fine with saying till July 4th, but like if it truly comes that they're going to have a winning May 17-12, excuse me. 17-12 is their May. So they did play better in May. It's the 7-22 to start the season that is such a huge hole. They're like the exact opposite. The Rays were 22-7 in April. So it's such a huge hole to climb out of that you wonder if even if they play 5 games above 500 again, they're still 5 games under.
That's a great point. How much is going to change between now and July 4th? We're 34 days from that.
Yeah.
How many games? Another 30 games. So,
I mean, the only way it like changes is if you play 15 games above 500 for the month. And that seems unlikely because they got to go play the fucking Yankees coming up. And it's not like it's not like they're going to be inundated in the AL Central for the next month. They're going to come out of that and start playing more teams outside of the division again in June. So I don't know. It is what it is. AL Central will unfortunately, and I say that, I really mean that, unfortunately, while it's fun in a way, like your team's not out of it, but in a way, it may keep things together longer than they should be.
That's a great point. It's almost like it's fool's gold. Like you keep reaching for this, but it's bullshit at the end. Meanwhile, you've wasted an opportunity where you could possibly trade away some expiring assets to make your team better in the future. And it seems like, to Rick's point, he doesn't have to do that today. Those decisions can be made at a later date. It was odd that he used July 4th as the next milestone, but the other thing he could be looking at is, even if the Sox, continue on this modestly positive pace that they've done the last month, maybe the Twins collapse and fall back into their lap. Again, that would mean, they're in the division race and potentially even winning the division, but that could still be fool's gold, as I don't see the winner of the AL Central, no matter who it is, doing any damage in the playoffs, as they've proven to be inferior to almost every other division.
That's why maybe he did. Maybe July 4th was if you look at it, June is basically outside the division. Maybe that's why he did say July 4th, because right now they've been playing better, but it's mostly been within the division. So now
I'm sure he's got a copy of the schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised.
It doesn't mean he's read it, Smitty. Doesn't mean he's read it.
I wonder what he does all day. What's he doing up there?
What are you doing, Rick?
Word Hole Media.